Welcome to the classroom. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
Somehow, among multiple universe resets, an absolute disaster of a video games department, and a lot of really solid comics actually, the Harley Quinniverse became one of the most enduring parts of the DC universe. Not to be confused with DC Universe Infinite, the streaming service the show aired on before being moved to HBO Max, before becoming Max, and is now being named HBO Max again. Alright. After 4 seasons of Harley and Ivy, the series was pregnant with its first spin-off, Kite Man Hell Yeah! Starring Ivy's former fiancé Kite Man and his new girlfriend Golden Glider, as they become the proud owners of Noonan's, a Gotham dive bar. Can you imagine a dive bar in Gotham? Kite Man Hell Yeah is a sitcom following Kite Man and Glider's relationship and the antics of some of the fan-favorite characters from Harley Quinn. And it is pretty good. Hell yeah. I'm gonna be real, I thought that this was a limited series. I thought we were looking at just a 10-episode self-contained story, and maybe that would have been better, but we'll get back to that. Kite Man Hell Yeah obviously stars Kite Man and Golden Glider, but Noonan's also has a two-headed mobster, Darkseid's adopted daughter, about 1/6 of the Queen of Fables, Professor Buzz Hickey, and the best character across both of these shows.
B is for back off, ladies, plenty of me to go around.
Season 1 sees Noonan's be caught up in the fight between the Legion of Doom and Darkseid for the anti-life equation, along with Golden Glider dealing with how she tragically murdered her parents at Noonan's. Kite Man Hell Yeah is 10 episodes of enjoyable, funny comic book sitcom that really has nothing else like it except for its own predecessor. If you want my simple, no spoilers review, this show is good. If you're looking for something to tide you over until Harley Quinn hopefully gets renewed for a season 6, I don't think you'll be disappointed. But if you're not a fan of Harley Quinn's crass, crude, canon-disregarding, reference-heavy style, this show is not gonna be for you. So if you haven't checked out Harley Quinn, I'd do that first, and if you absolutely love it, can't get enough of it like myself and a lot of fans, check out Kite Man. Now that being said, let's get into the spoiler review. Since we only have 10 episodes, I will be covering each of them. I just have such a genuine love of content that I have no clue how I couldn't. And I don't think this video will be long enough if I don't. After being fired from his temp job at the Legion of Doom as an aerial DPS, Lex Luthor buys Kite Man's favorite dive bar Noonan's as revenge, kicking off the plot as Kite Man and Golden Glider try to get the $10 million necessary to buy it back. Kite Man's first instinct is to ask his dad. Chuck is essentially like a nepo baby, just one where his dad doesn't support him. Kite Man and Glider also recruit Bane onto the show, thank God, to help them rob Chuck's father along with the rest of the Noonan's regulars. This episode has a sweet conclusion, with Kite Man's father giving him the $10 million to buy Noonan's for finally standing up to him. But of course, our side is not without casualties.
Joe doubles.
Wait, what? Nah, Joe's fine. He's just taking a nap.
Episode 2, Grand Reopening Hell Yeah, sees Chuck and Lisa face their first obstacle as new bar owners. A grand reopening Hell Yeah means that you need more staff to reopen it. Bane is only eye candy for the truly cultured, and they need someone to serve drinks. Malice is the stuck-up one of the sitcom, like if Tahani from The Good Place was raised on a hell world. Also, I think it's really cool that she has a bigger nose, but it's never used as a punchline or for any, like, insecurity plotline. Also, I love her cat, and he never does anything wrong, not even in this episode.
Here, kitty, kitty.
That was it?
Lex throws a party at the Legion of Doom that same night, not only to be a petty bitch, but to ensure that Noonan stays the unpopular dive it is, so that the anti-life equation, which he hid in the ice chest there, remains hidden. And Bane becomes the bouncer.
A is for A. I said back off, lady, seriously. Didn't you hear me say B?
Episode 3 is one of my favorites in this first short season. Billigan's Hell Yeah sees a chain villain-themed restaurant open across the street from Noonan's, poaching their business. While in the MCU, for example, an ice cream shop themed after the most deadly genocideer of all time, for example, is a little tonally weird, to put lightly, here it works great. Plus it reminds me of that superhero restaurant from Kingdom Come. Kite Man and Glider also have one of their better plots this episode. Their chemistry and just relationship isn't as interesting as Harley and Ivy's, but Glider worrying about brutally melting Chuck like she did her parents is a pretty good excuse not to want to move in. One of my small issues with the show as it goes on is how it makes more original characters like Helen Villigan and uses less DC deep cuts. But Baby Doll does have a fun appearance in this episode. We're moving through these, baby, hell yeah. Episode 4, Portal Potty Hell Yeah, is another one of my favorites from the season. The running of the bar, plus Chuck and Lisa learning to live together are the most engaging plots of the season to me, and this show is just at its best when it stays in relatability. This one also has a time travel plot. Putting most of the emotional focus on Golden Glider in this season is a really good idea. She's definitely a more interesting character than Kite Man in this show, and I really like her. And the time travel plot strikes a really good chord of sticking to its own rules enough, and still being dumb enough to keep the tone of the show consistently dumb. My favorite part of the episode, and this show though, is Bane. He does fall in love with Glider's mom, and messing with the flow of time to get MILF pussy is already pretty funny, but my favorite is how he writes an overly verbose message from the past into Kite Man and Glider's apartment wall, and he doesn't even put his name. Plus, the episode ending with Golden Glider's mom actually surviving her ultimate ability but still running out on her is really interesting. What they do with it, however, is not really interesting.
N is for not listening. I said back off, because I don't want you to rip the new suit, you know.
Episodes 5 through the rest of the show are just not as good. While the characters and a lot of the side plots are still funny and entertaining, the main plot has to move from being a sitcom about running a dive bar in Gotham City to a plot-driven intergalactic epic. And that's just not what this show is suited for. Prison Break Hell Yeah sees Golden Glider, Kite Man, and Bane break into the pit to hopefully break out Glider's mom for the A-plot. The B-plot, however, sees the characters at the bar, Malice, Noonan, the Doubleses, go up against the immortal Gotham City Health Inspector. This is exactly my issue with the back half of this series especially. The primary focus of these episodes is on the part that I'm just not here for. Darkseid is never gonna win the plot. Lex Luthor is never gonna win the plot. Kite Man, Golden Glider, Bane especially, and anyone else associated with Noonan's is gonna win the plot. And this type of plot armor is obviously in most stories. But Kite Man Hell Yeah is a comedy series, and a very lighthearted one at that. It can't support the weight of this plot that I know they will win. No matter how serious the threats get, no matter how close Darkseid, Lex, Helen Villigan get to winning, it doesn't matter. The tension is the exact same as if they got pantsed and crushed by a falling anvil in their first scene.
E is for, emergency, yeah, E is for emergency, yeah.
Episode 6, Mother-Daughter Day Hell Yeah, was almost a bad Golden Glider plotline with her believing her mom will love her now, because to her, she saved her life like yesterday, until she flushes her back down the toilet to 1986. While Kite Man goes on the plot of, oh man, I'm so insecure that I don't have powers, I gotta do something stupid, which is like the first idea anyone has about a character like Kite Man, so I'm super glad they went with that.
Exclamation point!
Episode 7, Sexiest Villain Alive Hell Yeah, is like the lifeline keeping the back half of this season even a little afloat. Like in Harley Quinn, one of the strongest things about this show is the casual industry look it takes at the villain world, and the sexiest villain of the year awards like the Villies is a great episode. I like how in this world there's canonically both the Villies, which is like for the overall best in villainy, and then you have the awards that are purely for villain sex appeal. Bane and Malice have a really funny dynamic. It's nice seeing her excited about something, and seeing a ton of DC villains in a room together is just like catnip for me.
Ow!
Unfortunately though, I do think this is where the format of the show is starting to drag for me, and why I think this should have just been a mini-series, not a recurring show. Throughout every episode, it's like you can feel the part of the show the writers had fun writing, the sitcom parts, fighting against the parts of it that were only made to fill time, only made to make an overarching plot, with the filling time plots just becoming the main plot line.
That's bad.
And that main plot line only takes more and more focus as the season goes on.
That's bad.
But the next episode focuses on Bane again.
That's good.
Okay, not focuses, but I'm focusing on him. Episode 8, Just Right Hell Yeah, sees Kite Man and Golden Glider leave Gotham entirely in this sitcom about running a bar in Gotham. Bane, however, is once again the savior of this show.
This is the instrument of your liberation.
While Kite Man and Golden Glider deal with the anti-life equation and its hallucinatory effects, Bane has to be a babysitter for Goldilocks, adding to the list of odd jobs he's had in this universe.
Hello, I am in a rush, and I need to print a 37-page present.
Just a moment, sir. Hey, kiddo. I bet you'd like a lollipop.
No, you don't want to.
Yucky! This lollipop is too sweet!
God damn it!
This episode may be dragged down by the overarching plot like most of the back half of this season, but it is dedicated to Lance Reddick, the voice of Lex Luthor in this show. Reddick was most known for his roles in shows like The Wire and Charon in the John Wick series, but he was also a prolific voice actor. He passed away suddenly in 2023 from heart complications, and upon his passing, his family asked for fans to donate to Mom Cares, a Baltimore nonprofit which supports underserved mothers with babies in neonatal intensive care. Moms Cares later reported the largest donation day in their history. Reddick is hilarious in the show's Lex Luthor in a very subtle way, typically playing the straight man in scenes with crazier characters. So, if at this point in the video it seems like I'm a bit more irritated, that's because I'm writing this after my cat just knocked over a brand new flower arrangement. The last two episodes of Kite Man Season 1 are the worst possible thing to ever happen to humanity ever. Like that. The last two episodes, To Get to the Other Side and Hero Stuff, both Hells Yeah, are essentially a two-part season finale, wrapping up the main plot of the season with Luthor, Darkseid, and Helen Villigan fighting over control of the anti-life equation. Episode 9 sees some antics happen with a giant chicken and stuff, and you know, it's fine. Also, Malice goes with Darkseid to try and save her friends. And in episode 10, the Noonan gang decides that Kite Man should read the anti-life equation and then demonetize himself to destroy it. There's also a pretty funny reveal in the last episode that this guy, Gus the Goon, is revealed to have been Martian Manhunter, and he takes a rushing nesting doll of the Book of Fables, the anti-life equation, and Glider's mom into deep space. And the season ends with a Brainiac tease, and yes, it is that sudden, and no, it's not for Kite Man Season 2, it was for Harley Quinn Season 5. Like a night out at the Gotham City dive bars, this review got a little darker than I was expecting, but I still did enjoy Kite Man Season 1. For Season 2, and any other after that, if they make them, I just think they really need to lean away from these big comic book stories and stick to more stories in the bar. More Patty's Pub and less DC Comics Crisis Event. Folks, as you could maybe guess, I'm a bit of a lightweight. They would have to carry me out of Noonan's. So this beer, it's making me a little sleepy. I gotta go lie down. But that is the video for this week, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time.
Don't hurt him.
everyone, thank you so much for watching that video. As always, if you made it to this point, a double thank you so much. Yeah, I was gonna get like a regular Cayman Jack because I prefer those, but the place I went to was out of those, I guess. So I got one of those strawberry ones. It's okay. I don't know. I'm more of a wine fella, or maybe a whole bottle of vodka fella. But anyways, what I have to show off my collection this week is Fantastic Four Solve Everything. This is from the Marvel Premiere Collection. I'll back it up a bit there. It's really cool. So far, there's not, like... It's a few, like... I'm like halfway through it right now, as you can see, probably like 40%. There's not really so far, like, an overarching story. So this is by, the writing is by Hickman, and the art is by Dale Eaglesham. Huh, okay. I probably should have read this beforehand, but I like to do these in one. But it's really good so far. I really like it. The first part is about, the Council of Reeds, and then the second part is this, like, kind of weird story about, like, Franklin Richards. And then we also just saw, Sue become, like, the emissary of humanity to Atlantis. And now I'm about to read an Inhuman story. And normally I hate the Inhumans, but kind of feel like they might, like, make fun of them or get fucked up in this. I just kind of have that feeling, so I'm hopeful. But, let's see. Let me think what else. We got Superman. We got Superman coming out real soon. I'm real excited about Superman. Y'all know something about Superman? He's a man. He's from the planet Super. Man, I am a lightweight. That was a stupid joke. I'll see y'all next time. Goodbye.